the State Library homepage, and I want to direct your attention to the left side where the tabs are. The third one down is Talking Books, and we're going to click on that. And this is where information is. One-stop shopping is what I call it. Talking Books, for those of you who aren't familiar, are books that are for people that are visually impaired, blind, legally blind, people that have macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, those who can't read standard print. Talking Books are also for those who have a physical impairment, stroke, arthritis, Parkinson's. Talking Books can even be used for a temporary condition. If you had a broken arm, if you have cataract surgery and you need Talking Books while you're recovering, if you're having cancer treatments and they leave you weak and unable to hold a book, your patrons would qualify for the service as well. Talking Books are a free service. There's no cost to the patrons to use the service. You have to fill out an application, however, and it does have to be signed by a certifying authority. And by that, we mean librarians can sign it, doctors, activity directors in nursing homes, hospital administrators. The family cannot sign the application. It has to be a certifying authority that says, yes, this does have a visual where they can't read standard print. You can find the application over here under Quick Links. You can click on the Talking Books application and download it and print it off. They used to not, NLS, the National Library Service, used to not let us accept faxed applications. They usually wanted the original. Now that you can print the application off, you can fill it out, you can fax it and email it to Emporia, our regional Talking Book office. So you can click on that and that's where you can get your application. Emporia handles all the mailing of the machines and the Talking Books. They go free matter back and forth. You never have to pay postage on Talking Books or Talking Book players. So please don't let the post office tell you you do. You do not. The cards that come in the mailing, the container say free matter for the blind in the top right-hand corner. Those books and machines come from Emporia, and you can send them back always free matter. Anybody have any questions at this point? Are we seeing any questions?
I am not seeing any. I'm not seeing any in the chat box, but I'll let you know if there's any that pop up.
Okay, great. If you scroll down some more, you can see search catalog, Braille and audio reading website, and we'll go over those in just a minute. You probably want to know, okay, how do people select their Talking Books? Well, when Emporia gets their application, they set the patron up with an account number. And Emporia also signs the patron up for the Talking Book Topics, which is a bi-monthly catalog that goes to the patron. They can select their books out of there. They can check off a list in the back of the catalog, mail it to us with their book selections. They can order their books online because we also have a catalog online. Or they can call and request their books that way. We try to get them the books that they want. They can either select their own books, or they can have us select for them, or we can do both. They can have us select mysteries, westerns, whatever for them, or they can call us up and say, well, I saw this book in the bookstore, or somebody told me about it. I'm wondering if you can get that for me. We try to make it as easy for them as possible. We don't have any overdue fines. We can't charge our patrons overdue fines. We don't have any fines for lost books or lost machines. So your patrons never have to worry about anything costing them, anything at all. We don't charge for anything. We also, this is the picture of the machine I want to show you. We have two different types of machines. We have a standard player and an advanced player. This is a picture of the standard player. The buttons are all color-coded. So, and also when you press a button, it tells you what its function is. So if you're legally blind or totally blind, you're not pressing a button and trying to guess, okay, what did I just press? It tells you what its function is. So if you press the volume up button, it says volume up. The container here is the talking book container that the books actually come in, the blue container. It has the mailing card on it. Your patron's address will be on one side, Emporia's will be on the other. The cartridge goes back in the container when they're through with it. They latch it closed, they flip the card over and drop it in the mail. We used to have the cassettes and the cassette players, which we no longer have. And we used to have multiple cassettes for one book. What's nice about these cartridges are the whole book is on one cartridge. So you don't have to worry about trying to find multiple cartridges to send back. The entire book is on it. These players come with a cord in the back. You can play the player plugged in. It also plays on battery. When it's fully charged, it has about 27 hours worth of battery time on it. If on the line something happens to the talking book player, we just ask that you keep the box that it came in, give us a call, tell us you need a replacement, and we'll put the machine in the box and we'll send you another machine. You send this one back free matter and we'll replace it for you. We also have now talking books on what's called BARD, Braille and Audio Reading Download.
We're having a little bit of sound issues on it, so we're using a different speaker. So I'm going to turn your sound down.
Okay, is that better?
I think that's better.
Okay, BARD over here is Braille and Audio Reading Download. And what that is the player has a USB port on the side. You can download books to a flash drive and insert that flash drive into the USB port on your player. We have what's called BARD Express, which makes that process a little easier, but I like now that we have the BARD app for Android and Apple devices. The app is free. You have to be a registered talking book patron though to get the app. Used to before, the patron had to sign up for talking books, then they had to go to the Braille and audio reading website, sign up on the application, a separate application to get that. Now I've asked Emporia and they said that if the patron provides an email address, they can sign them up for the BARD account without the patron having to fill out another application. So they've made that process easier, which I love. That's absolutely wonderful. I was telling everybody, oh yeah, you can download as many books as you want on the app. Well, I did notice there's 100 books, a limit of 100 books that you can download.
100 books a month.
A month, yes, yeah. A month.
There is a question.
Okay.
What does a patron do when he or she moves to another state?
You can have the patron take their player with them. They will send back any talking books to Emporia. We can transfer their records. They don't have to cancel in Kansas. If they're moving to Nebraska, they can take their service with them. All we have to do is just transfer their service. We try to make it as easy for them as possible. They don't have to start all over again.
Excellent.
And it works the same way all across the United States. So no matter where you move in the states, if you have talking books in one state and you want to go to another state, we just transfer the records. And then you pick up where you left off. You just always send back your books to the lending library that you got them from, but you can hang on to your machine because we transfer the machine number with the records. So getting back to BARD, you can have BARD on your Android or Apple devices. I actually have it on an iPad and an iPhone. You never have to wait for books. There's no expiration date, and they don't get deleted unless you delete them. So the books that you download on BARD can stay on there as long as you want them to. That's what makes this so nice as well. I might add, you can have a player and you can also have a BARD account. Just because you have BARD and you're using the app doesn't mean you can't have a physical player. Some people use both. Some people just use the app for talking books. They don't have the player at all. Others don't have access to the internet, so all they do is use the player. And I'm kind of jumping around back and forth here, but I'm talking as I'm thinking. On the players, we do have accessories that go with them. We have breath switches for people that have mobility issues. We have headphones. We have remote controls that just turn the player on. We also have a high volume player that a doctor has to sign off on the application for. Because if you were to use it and you didn't have a hearing problem, you would after. Definitely.
So when it says high volume, it means
high volume. So those are some of the accessories that come with the player. And again, those go through the mail, free matter. Everything, if there's one thing I want you to take away, is this service doesn't cost your patrons anything at all. So, and librarians that are listening, you can sign the application for your patrons. And you know your patrons have walked through the door. And if you see that somebody is struggling with large print, they're having a hard time reading large print anymore, please do mention the service to them. Because this can supplement what you already provide for your patrons. This is also something that they can use along with your audiobooks that you have in your library. And these come straight to their door. So if you have people in your community that can't get to your library, they don't have to. They come right to their door if they're using the physical books. Emporia also has a collection of magazines that are available for our talking book patrons, and the National Library Service has a collection of magazines as well. Emporia also has a descriptive videos, I should say, descriptive videos and DVDs that you can check out for free. Descriptive videos and DVDs are movies that describe what's going on in between the dialogue. So if you're visually impaired or blind and obviously can't see it, it describes what's going on in the movie, and Emporia has those available. They also have their own recording studios, so they have a lot of Kansas books that they put in talking book format. The William Allen White books, the Kansas Notable books, some Kansas magazines that are of interest, like the Keynotes for older folks. Those are available too. And the talking book service is also for all ages. There's a misconception out there that it's just for older people. It is not. We've had patrons as young as 2, 3 years old using talking books. We have the juvenile books, young adult, and adult books. So we have all ages using our talking book service. And also in conjunction with the summer library program, we also have a summer library program with talking books, and we give prizes away for the most books that are listened to, and our patrons seem to like that as well. So is there any questions at this point, Mary Beth?
I don't see any more right now.
Okay. Another service that's offered are Braille books. The talking book patrons, if they just want to use Braille, they have to sign up for talking books through Emporia. Emporia contracts with the State Library of Utah for the Braille books. So the patron would sign up for talking books first, and then Emporia would contact Utah for this person. And after that point, then the patron and Utah would be contacting each other about the Braille book service. We do have Braille on Bard as well. You have to have a Braille reader. I'm not familiar with all the Braille readers that are out there, but you can actually download Braille from Bard as well. Talking books are for institutions, libraries. Ideally, you should have a machine in your library for demo purposes. While you won't loan that machine out to people that walk in, you can demonstrate it for them. So they will see, oh, okay, what is this talking book player that you're talking about? Schools can have accounts. Teachers can have accounts in their classroom. They usually ask for a list of students that will be using the service. I will say that as far as BARD goes, and I don't know why this is, but libraries can only have a demo account. They can only download like 4 books off of BARD to show their patrons if they wanted to do that. Schools have full access to BARD. They can have a BARD account and they can download whatever books they want. And that's just one of the rules with the National Library Service. So you can see that talking books are available to all age groups, institutions, individuals. And, you know, I count on the librarians out there to help tell your people in your community when they come in about talking books. And I'm also available to come out and do a presentation on talking books if you have a group that you want me to speak to about this service. It's an excellent service. It's a wonderful, wonderful service. And if you'll see on the screen here on your right-hand side under Contact Us, you can email Emporia. They have their address, they have their toll-free number, the hours that they're open. And please, if you can't get in touch with me about any questions that you have, don't hesitate to call Emporia. The staff there is excellent to work with, and they will walk you through any questions or any problems that you might have with the service.
There is a question. Is the BARD device, is it a tactile machine or is it a website or what is it exactly?
It's actually a website.
Okay.
And I'm going to click on it here, and this is what it looks like. And I have a username and password. Let's see if I can get in this, and I can show you. Oops. 2 caps. Okay, hopefully it will let me in. Ta-da, here we are. Okay, this is what BARD looks like. And this is the recently added books and magazines that they just put on there in the last 30 days. And then they also have a most popular books list, which is rather interesting. So you can see what people are downloading the most. Then you can search your collection. I can put Louis L'Amour in there and search for all the books that I want to download. I can find music books and scores. Now this isn't music that you listen to because unfortunately, and I've had this question many times over the years, there isn't music on cartridge that you can listen to. It's just music scores, large print and Braille. There's fine magazines and other materials. You have a wish list. It shows you your previous downloads. BARD Express, how to use that. BARD Mobile for Apple devices, Android, Kindle. I do have it downloaded on my Kindle. I've not worked with it that much on my Kindle like I have the iPad. And it does have some help instructions, which are awesome.
So this leads into the next question. How are the patrons downloading Braille?
Well, you have to have a Braille reader.
So that it makes the Braille,
yes,
like
so
prints
it prints the dots out. You have to have a Braille reader, and there's a lot of Braille readers. And I was listening to Michael did a presentation back in March, Michael Lang. He's director for Talking Books.
And he's in Emporia?
In Emporia. And he was saying the same thing. He's not as familiar with the Braille, and I'm not either, but you have to have a Braille reader if you're downloading Braille.
So you download it in there. You download it
Yes.
onto your computer, and your computer has the Braille reader connected.
Yes,
okay,
correct. So that's just, this is what BARD looks like. And I've used it a lot for demo purposes. And I can tell you, especially our younger generation, it's real techie. They love the BARD app. So your students who have visual impairments can use the BARD app on their devices. And I have a lot of older folks that are using devices now, especially iPads, and they love the BARD app. They don't have to worry about a machine. They don't have to worry about sending books back and forth in the mail or losing anything.
They can use their known device that's already set up for their preferences.
Right.
And I'm assuming that the BARD website is set up really well for a screen reader, so it reads them off.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what that looks like right there. And It's the best thing that NLS has rolled out. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you know how long it's been around?
I believe now our new machines came out in 2009, and
Okay.
this was maybe about, I want to say 5 years ago.
Okay.
I may not be correct on that, but I'm just kind of.
I knew it was
giving a
fairly new,
guess.
but I
It's
couldn't
fairly
figure
new.
out how new.
Not real new, but fairly new. So that's what that's all about, and that's really the Talking Books in a nutshell. It's a free service, free library service. And, you know, I thank you librarians that are promoting this. And I know your patrons appreciate knowing about this service too. I want to show you a video. Well, first I want to go back to the library. And I want to go to librarian events and archives and show you something there. Okay, I'm on this right here, librarian events and archives. If you'll scroll down, you'll see March, where there was the Librarian's Guide to Talking Books. Michael Lang, the director for Talking Books in Kansas, did this back in March, and he gives a very good overview, and he has some slides for additional information. And I would encourage you to watch that, because I may not always think of everything that I want to say or need to say, but you can go watch this at any time, and you can watch it over and over again.
And I'll put the link in the chat.
He does an excellent job of explaining the services and the different things that I touched on here today. And I also want to go to the National Library Service, Library of Congress, and show you this awesome commercial that they put out. Hopefully it'll work just fine here.
Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Are they hearing it?
Yeah.
There is no place like space. Grandpa, look what I'm reading. Have you read about Astronaut Abby?
No, sweetheart, I'd love to, but the print is just too small. Hey, sweetheart, there's no place like space.
Grandpa, you read my book?
I listened to it. Thanks to you two, I enrolled in NLS.
NLS is a free library service from the Library of Congress for people who have difficulty reading print due to a visual or physical impairment. Lifetime memberships are free, and all NLS patrons receive a free talking book player upon enrollment.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.
There we go. Now we're back.
Okay, that's a great commercial that they put out. And I love that next year's, it fits right in with the summer reading program for next year. So this is something that they worked on, promotional items for the whole nation to get people aware of the Talking Book service, because there's so many out there that still don't know that they can utilize this wonderful service. So I want to thank you all in advance for letting your patrons know about this. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to call me or call Emporia at their toll-free number that was on there, because we're glad to help you at any time. If you have questions about the application, who can sign it, who shouldn't sign it, please, by all means, contact us, and we'll walk you through all that. So are there
Cathy,
any?
Gail has a question.
Okay, just a second.
Can you hear me?
Just a second. Okay, try again, Gail.
Gail has a question. Can you hear me, Cathy?
Yes, I can.
So you've talked about the services that are available, and talk to us a little bit about what you can do to help local patrons get hooked up with this service, if you don't mind.
Okay, I can actually go out and help people with their machines. I can help fill in the application for them. I can sign the applications for them. I've had patrons come into the library before with needing help to get the BARD app on their iPad, and I've done that for them. I've walked through how to use the player, how to send the books back in the mail. I can do all those things, and I'd be happy to, if you have any patrons in your communities that need that extra help and you need me to come out, I'd be more than happy to do that.
And you also go to senior living homes
Yes.
and fairs and that kind of thing as well.
Talking book booth at senior fairs. I've done presentations. I've just did a big presentation in Hayes at the AARP Summit. So I'm always happy to come out to your area and do this, or even help your patrons, because they can't always see well enough to get the app on their device. So I help them with that, and I help them find books on Bard, how to use Bard. So we'll go over those things too if they want me to do that. I also help them in how to use the online catalog for ordering, or use the print catalog. Some of them still don't want to use the online catalog, and that's fine. They don't have to, and they can always call us with book requests too. So we're more than happy to take phone calls.
So there's lots of ways.
There's lots of different
There's lots of ways
that
for
I
them to get
help.
what they want.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about Summer Library Program.
Okay, well, every year, Maggie, that is the assistant to Michael at Emporia, will send out a packet, a summer reading packet that our Talking Book patrons can sign up for. Again, it's all free. And just for signing up, they usually draw prizes. I don't know if they do that on a weekly basis or not, but just for signing up, you have a chance to win a prize. And then you keep track of the books that you've listened to. And at the end of summer, they usually have 2, maybe 3 prizes that they draw names for. Past years, it's been Walmart gift cards, sometimes a Visa card. They do different things every year. So we always like to offer that to our patrons. There's no age limit. Children can sign up for the summer reading program, of course, anybody who's a Talking Book patron. And we try to encourage everybody to do that too. What's not to like? You might get a prize. So.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yes.
cool. And then I have here, I put them on the camera there, they are printouts that come from NLS, the National Library Service. And we looked online, and it doesn't look like they give us the PDF online. But if you would like an information sheet about the Braille and Talking Book program, or about Braille and audio reading download, or BARD, Cathy can get you in touch with how to get that information.
Yes, I can get those for you. I can get plenty of those. If you want some for your library, I'd be happy to send some to you. Just let me know. So, are there any other questions?
Don't see. Oh, is there a service for newspaper?
There is news online that I don't use very much, but we can get you in contact with Emporia and have them set you up with that.
And then you said also magazines as well.
Yes, we do have magazines and Talking Books. Some of them Emporia circulates, some of the magazines the National Library Service circulates. Okay. So we do have patrons that are using magazines. It's always been, and people laugh when I say this, you have to have 1 book a year to be considered an active patron. So we don't have any book limits. You don't have to read so many books in a week to stay on Talking Books. You don't have to have a certain amount of books, just 1 book a year to be an active patron. Because a lot of people like the magazines, but we send them 1 book just to keep them in an active status. So okay, you can do that.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
if you have any more questions, please pop onto the chat. We're going to move the discussion a little bit to Cathy's new role here at CKLS. She is also the ILL/SHAREit guru. So yes. Cathy, why don't you give a little spiel about that?
Okay, I just started doing ILL probably in May. That's what I'm saying anyway. And I'm doing SHAREit, and I am also the person that you go to if you are looking on SHAREit. First, you look on Pathfinder. That's what we always recommend. Your first and foremost is to go to Pathfinder to see if your book is in Pathfinder. If not, look on SHAREit, see if your book is there that you're looking for. If you can't find it there, then you contact me, and I can look out of state to see if it's available. and then I will order that book for you and send it on courier to your library.
And I know we're part of, it's a Colorado courier.
Yes.
So we can do a courier through Colorado. I can't remember what it's called. I'm blanking on that right now.
Too.
And then I think even if you can't get it nationally, there's sometimes you've been able to go internationally. Is that correct?
I haven't so far, but I think in the past.
It's a possibility.
Possibility. And I also want to let you know too, in addition to the Talking Book Archive webinar that I said was on the librarian page, Librarian Events and Archives, Rhonda from the state just did a SHAREit update, September 6, 2018. And again, it doesn't tell you the complete everything about SHAREit, but she goes into a lot of great information, such as what to do for holidays. If you're not going to be in the office for a week, how to set a holiday schedule on SHAREit so your library isn't picked and you're gone for a week and you've got all these pending requests sitting there and you're not there to fill them. So I would also encourage you all to watch that. It was very helpful to me as well. So that's my other hat that I wear. So if you all have questions on SHAREit or concerns, or you need me to look for books that you can't find on SHAREit, please contact me. I'd be happy to answer those questions too.
I just informed that our CKLS website needs to be updated. We still have Crystal as the ILL person, so we'll get you on that.
Well, and I will say too, on the Talking Book site, that I just showed you, I was clicking through there and I noticed in their frequently asked questions, they say something about cassettes. So some of that has been updated, some hasn't, because we don't have cassette tapes anymore, thank goodness.
No cassette tapes anymore.
So.
And Margie mentioned that there is access to Texas libraries via Amigos.
Yes, she's correct.
Yeah, so there's lots of good access to information.
Yes.
And this is a comment. We have a book club in our community that is going to read a book for December 19th.
Okay.
It's not on Pathfinder, and there are 10 copies on SHAREit. Who do I need to contact to get more copies? So she can find 10 copies on SHAREit, but she needs 19.
Oh, okay. So then I probably would have to look for you to see if I can get those other 9, because if you're only finding 10 on SHAREit, then chances are I will have to go
and probably she's saying how soon, and I'm thinking
the sooner the better.
Yeah,
because
we can always ask for an extension.
Yes, I can always renew those books, or at least ask for a renewal. But if you can get that information to me as quickly as possible, that would be great.
Yeah.
So.
And I have a SHAREit success story. I had a neighbor who was helping another neighbor find a book that he was researching, and it was a lexicon book in German or something, and it was something that it wasn't even in print anymore, but they were able to find it as an ebook format, and I was able to download it as a PDF and put it on a CD for this person. It was like 300 pages, so I wasn't going to print it, but I was able to put it on a CD for them. And so that just kind of shows you the lengths that ILL people will go to get you your book.
I love researching, and I don't give up easily when I'm trying to find a book.
Yeah, it's like solving a mystery.
It is like solving a mystery, yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So even if you think there's no way anybody's gonna find this book, give us a shot.
You never know.
Yeah.
There might be only one library that's lending it, but I'll go ahead and ask for that book from that one library and hope they say yes.
And sometimes we have a lot of questions that we need to ask you to figure out what exactly you're looking for, if it has to be in a specific format, or if we can, I can't find it in print, but I can find it on the on a downloadable e-resource or something like that.
Or
so
sometimes if it's a common title, I'll need more information. Especially if it's like a movie, who's in it, what year. Those things are very helpful when I go searching for something.
Yeah, sometimes we have a lot of back and forth, especially if it's an email request about, okay, what exactly are you looking for? And it's not because we're not trying to be helpful, it's because
we need as much information as possible so it can get the right thing that you want. So if you want the Starry Night, I'm not getting you a children's book, you wanted the movie, and so I could see where that would happen. I get the wrong thing. So it's very helpful if you give as much information as possible.
And like you said, the sooner you can put in the request, the better. Sometimes it takes a while to find it, and sometimes it takes a while for a library to agree to get the book there. Sometimes you know, the cogs in the wheel move slowly, but we will speed it on to you as much as we can.
So if possible, if Margie's awake over there, I hear there she is. So if a Pathfinder library orders something on interlibrary loan and it comes in, Margie, can you show us or tell us the easiest way? And maybe Mary Beth can show us. I know that it used to be a lot of paperwork, and
yeah, I'd be happy to if Cathy.
Thank you. It's just so awesome. I have to crow. Margie made this, and it's just marvelous.
Okay, so Mary Beth, if you'll just go on to the landing page for
Go there.
Pathfinder.
What do I want to do? Right here. Share. Okay. CKLS.org. All right.
I actually made a paper tutorial, and my next goal is a video, but I have to sleep at night too.
What? Hopefully I typed that right. Oh, I did.
Right. Okay. So at the top of the nav page, you'll see that little word called SHAREit. And if Mary Beth will click on that, the first thing that you'll see is a login. That will take you directly to the KLC or the Kansas Library Catalog, where you can borrow and check your loans for SHAREit. What's kind of nice about this tool is it was created by a colleague of ours, Jason Robb at Southeast, and he figured out a way to keep your borrowing and lending on SHAREit all concisely managed in this neat little tool. So when you click into the login, it takes you directly to your account. So Mary Beth's going to be logging in as CKLS, so you'll see your library's already pre-selected. So you put in your username and then your password, and you're good to go. So you all are familiar with that, so we'll skip on. So the next thing that happens is when you have an item that comes in, you need to add that temporary record. So here we already have a short form created for you. You need to populate the author, and after SHAREit ILL, after the dash, okay, and then there you go, you add the title of the book. All right, and then save it. It will take you directly to where you populate your holdings. So you're going to put your initials. The barcode can be from the book. It can be, a lot of times in the paperwork that they send you, there will be a barcode. Whatever one that you choose to use, you can go ahead and put into that field and then put in your owning library. And then you'll see the Koha item type has already been pre-populated for you. This was confusing at the beginning. You need to leave that right as it is, because what that does is we draw statistics for you from that, but it also hides it from the OPAC. We don't want patrons putting holds on these borrowed items. So just leave that alone. If you feel your record is going to show you when she clicks add an item, you'll see in the normal view that it already tells you what it is. So it's a book. So, but if you want to put it somewhere, I'd suggest the call number or someplace that's vacant. So that's what this does for you. When you check it out to your patron, you just go ahead and use that barcode that's in there. We'll go ahead and check that out to somebody.
Check it out to myself. I'll read my own book.
All right.
If I can type, I can't type my name from this angle. Okay.
Okay, so you'll see the checkout. All right, so now if we want to go back up to the SHAREit tool, the next item is there's some circulation stats that will run. So we'll go ahead and click on that. You can run them by date, so if you want to do it for the month. So we've had 8 or 9 outgoing loans. So probably things from probably books by mail have been sent out, and we've had 2 items that have come in. So it's right there for you. You don't have to keep track. As long as you kind of use the way that the reports have been made, it should save you a lot of time. So the next thing on that is the overdue loans. So if you have something that's overdue, it's going to show you. I don't know if we'll have any. Here's one. And I believe it defaults to whatever circulation rule we have set up for that. So that obviously was overdue. So I'm going to have to find that and get it returned. Those are the loans. We've got the overdue borrows. Probably don't have any of those yet. So that's empty. And then at the top, we've got record cleanup. So here's an easy way to find out if you have records that need to be deleted. You can go ahead and run that. And then the last link is for all your temporary records. So there we have them all listed in a handy dandy drop down. I really thank Jason for this because he really did a great job. But what is also really great, now if Mary Beth, you don't mind checking that book in.
Tab in there somehow. Okay.
So see, it reminds you right there to return it to ILL and to please delete the temporary record. So hopefully this will make everybody's lives easier keeping track of your SHAREit borrows and loans.
Delete it.
Yep.
And
there we go.
Delete the record, the bib record as a whole.
Right. Yep.
Oh, my book disappeared.
Thank you, Margie. This is so awesome.
Well,
it's so amazing. I'm so glad that you found it from Jason and you took the time to add it to the catalog. It's going to save our librarians a huge amount of time and paperwork.
Well, I do have people that say, well, I like my book. I said, well, keep track of your book. And then an hour later, they'll call me and say, I've given the book up. I'm going to this. So just trying to make everybody's workflow easier. So
excellent. Thank you. All right. And last call for any questions. You can go ahead and type them in chat, or you can unmute your microphone and talk to us. We'll take either. Any last minute words of wisdom there, Cathy?
No, just again, please don't hesitate to call us, email me, call me. If you have any questions at all, that's what I'm here for. And I would love to help you with talking books or ILL.
Excellent. And I'm going to give us our next date for Tuesdays with CKLS. It is going to be Tuesday, November 20th, and I believe it's going to be schools with Christy Snyder.
Mary Beth, why don't you go ahead and advertise December as well? That's a pretty big one too.
December 18th is the last Tuesday with CKLS of the year, and I will be going over the annual report and the CKLS system grant questionnaire. So we will be going through where to find all your information, how to fill out the forms, all those questions that we usually wait till January to answer in a hurry. I'm hoping to kind of nip this in the bud and answer those questions right off. So it will of course be archived. The forms won't be open until January 1st, but this will help you know where to compile all your data. So hope you guys can join us for that. So
thank you, Mary Beth and Cathy, and thank you, Margie.
Thank you. I don't see any more questions.
Okay.
So I guess we'll call it a day.
All right. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you. This will be archived and up on the website. Thank you.